Have you ever been sitting at home bored, wondering something to do that is fun, outdoorsy, and can possibly even earn you some extra cash? Welcome to horseback riding. I have been riding since I can remember and have owned horses my whole life. I have taken 8 years of riding lessons and have competed in both the disciplines that I'll talk about later. I have earned hundreds of dollars through competitions, which is one of the reasons that could get you into riding. Riding is very therapeutic and can be a fun hobby for you and your friends to get into. Along with this, if you stick to it, you could compete and earn a little extra money from it, like I have. To be able to truly enjoy riding, you need to first always remember safety, get comfortable around horses on the ground, learn the basics of riding, and understand the different disciplines and their uses. The best way to begin riding is by learning about your horse, how to ride, and the different disciplines you could pick from to ride. Now, let's start with the most important part of working with horses, safety and the basics. First things first, getting to know a horse doesn't begin by just jumping on. You need to start with the equipment, safety, and groundwork. Horses are very powerful and unique animals, so getting to know your horse and their temperament by working with them on the ground is the best way to start. Brushing, petting, walking around, and simply spending time with your horse allows you to grow a connection and trust. Respecting and understanding horses is the safest way to be with them, so learning their body language and movements lets you stay safe and predict their emotions. An example of this is when a horse has their head up and ears back, they are alert, upset, or angry. When their head is down and ears forward, they are happy and relaxed. Once you are comfortable around your horse, and your horse is comfortable around you, you can begin riding. No matter the discipline you are riding in, you should start slow and work on the basic skills. Shannon McGee, an equine science and equestrian expert and the author of How to Ride a Horse for Beginners, says that safety should always come first when riding, no matter the experience. So always stay alert, wear a helmet, and the right attire. McGee then goes on to explain how to mount or get on your horse, how to dismount or get off, and how to go and stop. To get on, you should be on the left side of your horse, hold the reins slightly loose, put your left foot in the stirrups, stand and swing your body around so you're sitting on the horse, and then finally put your right foot in the other stirrup. And there you go, now you're on a horse. To dismount, it's basically the same steps in reverse. Next, you need to know how to stop and go. Again, these are the same in each discipline. To stop, you will sit deep and back in the saddle, squeeze with your upper thighs, say whoa, and pull back slightly with the reins until the horse stops. To go, you squeeze slightly with your lower legs and sit up tall. The more you squeeze, the faster you'll go up to a trot. You can also use verbal cues like kissing or clicking sounds. Once you get these basic movements down, you can move on to other movements like backing, cantering or loping, galloping, and more. Now that you know the basics of how to ride, you can look into certain disciplines. Let's first look at the most common in northern Michigan, which is Western. Western riding is what I learned first and believed to be the most comfortable and widely known discipline. This is where you have larger saddles with a distinct horn in the front. Your legs are almost fully straight and you lean back the most here. This style of riding is what cowboys in movies are seen doing and is usually used for leisurely riding, speed events, and reining. With Western, a huge focus is to be very deep in the seat, to have looser reins, and to only hold the reins with one hand. So almost all of your signals that you give to your horse are through your legs. David Duncan, the author of Guide to Western Riding, explains that riders need to sit deep in the saddle, keeping their shoulders back and down, and their heels down. Achieving the right balance and control helps riders stay centered and aids in effective communication with the horse. This is the key to Western riding, and is often seen as the more relaxed version of riding because the saddle is usually more comfortable for the rider, and you do not have to post while trotting, which is necessary to do when riding English disciplines. The English discipline has many varieties, of which I have ridden 2 forms of, hunt seat and saddle seat. English encompasses many different riding disciplines, including hunt seat and saddle seat, but also dressage and eventing. However, hunt seat is by far the most common in northern Michigan, so that's what I'll be discussing today. The biggest differences between Western and hunt seat is equipment, riding styles and activities, and posting. Posting is something that mainly occurs in English riding and is where you almost stand up with the beat of your horse's front outside leg while trotting. It brings a sort of smoothness to trotting that can be difficult to achieve when sitting. English disciplines also move much quicker than Western, with all of your horse's movements being a little faster versions of themselves than Westerns. The equipment is also very different. David Duncan, who is also the author of What is Huntsie, explains that Huntsie emphasizes proper position, control, and effectiveness in jumping, reflecting the core elements of hunting while maintaining grace and elegance. Jumping is a main sport in the Huntsie discipline, so it makes sense that the movements are faster and more direct. With a hunt seat saddle, you have very close contact with your horse, and the stirrups are greatly raised from a Western saddle, so your knees are bent to a significant degree. This form of riding can be seen as a more professional at times and has much stricter dress code when competing. There are a lot of different activities that can do with Huntsie, such as pleasure riding, jumping, hunter hack, and working hunter. Now that you know the basics of riding and some of the most common forms, you can begin riding. So now that I have talked to you about how to stay safe around horses, how to begin riding, and the two most popular disciplines of riding in northern Michigan, you can ride yourself. Safety, learning the basics, and understanding what type of riding you want to do are the first steps to get into riding, which you now know. So now, when you're feeling bored at home and want a fun outdoorsy activity, or maybe even want to make a little extra cash, you know what to do.